this week, and Andrew has a big story about this right now today in the news about state testing.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that Assemblyman Miller, Brian Miller, is out talking about he's standing up for people and saying you have the right, which you absolutely do. But you're going to notice that something is missing this year. It's not. It doesn't seem to be as big of an event this year about the opting out. Have you noticed?
I have. I mean, I feel like this is the third year.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
And
this
everyone's
year.
been there, done that.
What's missing? What is missing here?
That's so last year.
Last year. It really is. It's kind of now. I'm not saying there aren't going to be people that are going to opt out. Some districts will be bigger than other districts. And by the way, I want you to call in now and tell us if you're having your kids or maybe your grandkids are opting out. I'd love to know how you're handling this. 315-736-0186. You can call in right now. I'll just take calls and we'll do a little unofficial poll.
My guess on what's missing?
Yeah.
An election?
That is interesting, too. That could be very well because
there's nobody leading the charge.
What is missing is the attack on teachers.
Okay.
The governor's attack on teachers. It's not really a part of all the state. The state testing is not tied the way it was feared it was going to be tied to teacher evaluation and teacher performance, right? And the teachers' union was able to work things out with the governor. And now what is missing is that. So now the parents are out there like, well, wait a minute, where'd everybody go? We're still against testing. And I'm sorry, I'm going to anger some people, but give me a break. Your kid's not going to die because he had to take a test that was going on for a long. I mean, that whole thing is just ridiculous.
And they've shortened the test too, by the way.
And it's been
they've taken the time limit out
because we are. You want to talk about it? Forget T-ball. It's like, oh, this is a T-ball world. We don't put any pressure on kids anymore. No, it's a testing world. We're going to make the test shorter. We're going to make them easier for you. And then you hear, and I do hear this. People say, we shouldn't be teaching to the test. Yeah, tell that to the kid trying to pass his driver's test, okay? Learning how to take a test is pretty important. And try getting a state job or a county job. You got to take a test.
Yeah.
I mean, learning how to take tests is not necessarily a bad thing. But anyway, I'm just curious why it's not so big this year, and that's the one element that's missing.
I seem to remember when I was a kid in elementary school, middle school, even in high school, I was taking tests. There would have one day, it wasn't a Regents exam, but it was a test that I would take that they said didn't mean anything. It was like the MCAT
doesn't mean
something.
Anything. Yeah, don't worry about it. This doesn't mean anything. Teachers kind of bringing you down.
Right, so when this whole issue of the Common Core testing came up, I thought it was more of a debate about the actual Common Core curriculum, and I thought to myself, what's the big deal? Just take, if they don't count for anything. Now, I understand the teacher evaluations aspect was important, but let the kids, just have the kids take the test.
The whole concept is so that state to state, you can judge, how's Mississippi doing? Well, you can compare them to New York because everybody's basically taking the same test. They're all using basically the same type of curriculum. And that has been controversial in itself. But you can understand how teachers would be a little uncomfortable with their progress, their rating being tied to a kid's test, because there are people like me out there. So when I took these tests, you had to have the number 2 pencil, and you had to fill in the bubble, right? So I clearly remember, and I didn't, because they're telling you the test doesn't mean anything. So I wanted it to mean something. What would happen if I just filled in bubbles at random? So imagine, though, there's students out there like me that are just filling in. Let's see what happens here. Let's see how I do it. Just
little
at random,
shapes out of the bubble.
Making shapes. Look at what I've created here. I've created this. It looks like the sky. It looks like the stars. But that teacher's evaluation would really be about my screwing around.
And the point you brought up about testing in general and how it's important in learning to take tests, even for me, I had to take a test recently, and you forget how important it was to kind of remember how to take those tests.
And if you don't pass the test, you don't get the job.
Right.
So I think we should be cautious of going down this road of, it's going to just
stressful.
Be horrible and too stressful for our kids. Give me a break, please. Tom in Little Falls, give me a break,
there was a time,
Tom.
I don't know if it's still going on, that either the school district or the parents had to pay $15 for each of these Common Core tests. Is that still in place or not?
I've never heard of that before, Tom. Where'd you get that?
That's the way it was. That was one of the big.
You mean when we were kids?
First came out.
That's not true. If that's true, I'm so thankful we got out of the $30 that we would have had to have paid. We didn't pay it.
Yeah, well,
I've never heard of that before.
Oh, it was there.
I don't think it was, Tom.
It was. You can go back and look. Ask your wife. She's a teacher. Ask your father-in-law. He's a principal.
Okay.
They'll tell you.
Do you want? Why don't we do it while you're on the line right now? Let's try it. Okay. Hold on a second.
Your wife always loves those unexpected calls.
Maybe I missed this part. I had no idea. Stick with me, Tom. All right.
Yeah, I'm here.
Good. Tom at Little Falls.
Tom was recently featured on our show after us, Brian Kilmeade.
Yes, Tom's all. My wife's gonna knowingly not pick up the phone here. Come on, pick up the phone. Hello. Hello, Allison. Hello, Judge Wapner.
Hello.
All right. Do you ever? Is it true, Tom? Will you trust her?
I have never heard of that.
Tom, you're listening to George Norrie too much.
Like if it's an AP course, I believe they do have a fee or something like that because it's counted towards
an advanced placement course.
Yeah,
but not there is no fee for parents for Common Core.
Well, it may have just been the AP courses, but there was a thing because people were complaining about it.
But that's different. I mean, if you have to go and take, when you take your any college advanced stuff, there's always a fee with that stuff.
Yeah, but that's
not required.
You're going outside when you're going to the SATs or the National Merit.
Yeah,
but run by somebody else.
Yeah, but this is not. But taking an advanced placement course is not required. So to say that, all right, in order to fund this, you gotta. That's possible. But you said Common Core, and that's not true.
Yeah, the money was going to Bill Gates and all of those others who were running Common Core.
Okay. Are you ready? Here's my father-in-law because you threw him into this. Tom, totally false. No one ever paid for a single New York test. Fake news.
It wasn't New York test. It was the National Common Core running this thing.
No, New York we've always run our own. Every state runs their own. Each district, and they create their own curriculum.
Listen, you can't get students to come to school with pencils and pens.
Yeah, really.
$15 in cash.
We would have had some fundraiser. You've got to help us get our kids to be able to take the test.
The 5 kids
donate money.
I don't
know whether it was parents or whether the school districts had to pay it.
All right, hold on. Andrew has some addition.
This is from a local administrator. Never been a charge for Common Core.
Never been Tom, you have a former principal superintendent, another administrator, a teacher, all telling you this doesn't exist and never did. At what point
You mean I made a mistake?
Okay.
Yeah.
All
right. My gosh.
I love it.
One mistake. I've used up 6 months' worth of mistakes.
Tom, I feel almost like your counselor here. This was a very big moment for you. This is very big. And
this is progress.
This is progress, and we appreciate it. Tom, say goodbye to my wife. I got a break.
Goodbye.
Okay, goodbye.
Okay, I got a break. Thank you, Allison. And Tom, thank you. That was actually enjoyable. I got a break.